over here. We're here for what is allegedly your last media day for UFC. So I guess how's fight week been for you? I say allegedly because it's MMA retirement. You always hear people like Jose Aldo's fighting, and he retired, got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I'll just ask you, like, I'm sure you've been asked this, like, is this actually it for you on Saturday?
Yes, most definitely. No matter the outcome, 1 minute finish, I think this is it for me. Kind of ready to move on to that next chapter in life. Just staying home with my son, maybe growing a bigger family. So it's going to be a little bit hard to get back in the octagon with a big belly like that.
So how has fight week been for you? Like, are you taking it all in? Are you just treating it like a normal fight week? Are you kind of like savoring moments of like, oh, this is the last time I'll have to do portraits, last time I'll have to, check the gloves and everything? Or is this normal fight week?
I'm really, just trying to enjoy the moment and kind of have a more like, carefree attitude and just have fun with everyone. Normally I would just be a hermit in my room and just, super focused. But now I'm just kind of enjoying like, every aspect of it, trying to take more pictures, document a little bit more. I'm doing an after party and, I'm like having all my friends that are coming out for lunch after weigh-ins, just kind of like having fun and appreciating all the people and the experience of fight week.
In terms of, you're fighting Tecia Pennington, you obviously have history with her from The Ultimate Fighter. Are you surprised that you guys never linked up again in the octagon, considering, you went on to be a two-time champion? She's always kind of floated around the top five.
Yeah, I mean, you never kind of know how matchups end up. Some matchups might make sense, but they just kind of never come to fruition. But I mean, here we are on my last fight, and it's happening. This is actually my second rematch of my career. First one was Rose, also from The Ultimate Fighter. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun one.
She was in here earlier, and she said just because the co-main event, a lot of the storyline is how they didn't get along on The Ultimate Fighter, and we asked, like, did you and Carla have a similar kind of rivalry? And she said, well, when we were on The Ultimate Fighter, she wasn't my favorite. And then since then, you've had your son, she's had a daughter she says it's all good now. But did you also kind of feel similar to Tecia, like maybe she wasn't your favorite either?
Yeah, I guess that's a nice way to put it. She wasn't my favorite, but since then, being in the sport so long and just, kind of almost like starting this division and kind of being in the ups and downs of, just being in the UFC as a female from the beginning, it's just kind of like you can't not have a lot of respect for that journey that we've been on. And I think just kind of, both having babies around the same time, and she's a little ahead of me. I'm like, what's happening? Like, what do you do? And I actually reached out to her a little bit for some advice, and it's kind of been cool to like chat with her. And I wasn't expecting this to be my next matchup, but sometimes things just shake up like that.
Just like looking at your career and just life in general, you can kind of bookmark a lot of major moments around the UFC, like The Ultimate Fighter, winning the title, you got married as the champion, you had your first son on the UFC roster. Is it going to be weird kind of not looking ahead to the next fight all of the time, like when you finally do hang it up?
I think so. I mean, as a fighter, fighting is everything in my life. You eat, sleep, breathe, train. Like, that's just your whole life revolves around that fight game. So, just kind of stepping away from it, it's kind of like, I feel like it's an identity crisis. Like, what do I do next? But, I mean, fortunately for me, I do have my next job or, being a mom, and I can kind of pass that dedication and that passion over to parenting my son.
And just last one on retirement. We see a lot of athletes in other sports that announce their retirement, like Kobe and David Ortiz and everything. Like, halfway through the season, they're like, I regret announcing it early, because then that becomes the story throughout the season. Was there any regret at all at announcing your retirement that early? Because every interview, I would imagine, from then to the fight is going to be about what are you going to do and all of this retirement talk.
Not really. I mean, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So, and I've been at peace with the decision for, a long time. So, instead of the questions of like, who's your next fight? And, do you want to get the title back? It's just kind of like, it's a different storyline, but, I felt really good about the decision. Of course, when when I go to training and I'm like, oh, I love learning this, or this is such a cool new move, and I still love the sport so much. So I'm not going to step away from it completely as far as like coaching and training and whatnot. But yeah, I'm actually happy that I announced the decision and was able to kind of like go into this camp like with a different spirit.
Have you thought about the possibility of, because I would imagine, two-time champion for inaugural strawweight champion, that you would be kind of a shoo-in for the UFC Hall of Fame at some point. Like, has that floated in your mind at all, like coming back and being up there making a speech?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like, that's my biggest dream, right? I mean, Hall of Fame in the UFC, I mean, doesn't get much better than that. So I hope I can be up there with, the best of the best, all the legends in the sport. That would be really cool.
And then last one for me, unrelated to your fight, can I just get your thoughts on the main event between Khalil and Alex?
I think Khalil is a wild card, Sometimes he surprises you and he just has these like amazingly devastating knockouts. But I mean, he is just proven, fight and fight again. He is just so good and hard to beat. I mean, he's made the best guys in the division kind of look like, like he's toyed with them. So, I don't know. The only thing that I would say, just kind of being in that position of, having to fight so frequently in such a short period of time, is it taxes you. It definitely wears on you. So I could see that kind of being the only, issue. You get a little bit burnt out, your body, your mind. So that would be the only issue. And I think Khalil is hungry. I mean, he's been up and down in this division, and he's clawed his way to this title fight, so I wouldn't put a win past him.
Is that a regret you have of taking, like when you were champion, I think you won it in December and then immediately turned around in March to defend your title against Joanna. Was that a regret you had? Like if you could go back, you'd maybe take an extra few months?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I was like, letting the UFC, I needed more time, and I was pretty burnt out from the show and fighting already 4 times within a very short period of time. But, being so early in my career and not, you get a little bit intimidated and it's hard to say no when, it's a fight that for them really makes sense. I think me fighting, defending the title on the same card as Anthony was a fight that, a card that really made sense. But at the end of the day, all in the past, and all you can do is pick up, evolve, and move forward and try to get another title shot, which I did. So, yeah.
Carla, right over here in the back. Oh. Sorry. So obviously returning after nearly 2 years, what were some of the biggest hurdles that you had to overcome just to get back to this point?
I mean, just pregnancy takes such a toll on your body. I didn't honestly know if I'd be able to come back to this fight, like beforehand, not knowing what labor and pregnancy would be like. Fortunately, everything went very smoothly, but it's just like any major injury or traumatic experience to your body. You really need to take your time and build your way back and be patient in that rehab process, which I was. But I would say another challenge was also just remembering everything. Not having really trained much other than lifting weights in my camp is just kind of like I'm training. I'm like, what was that move again? Like there's so much knowledge that's been built up over these last 15 years of fighting. I'm like, I didn't even realize how much I knew until I started trying to remember everything. So definitely a long layoff is rough, and hopefully I don't have too much ring rust to shake off in that octagon.
And now that you have your baby boy over there, do you feel like you're fighting for more now being a mother?
Most definitely. I want to go out there and make him proud. I mean, he won't really get it now, but when he looks back and I just want him to be proud of me and, get that win bonus, that Donovan scholarship fund. So, that's always more motivation for sure.
And after your retirement, do you believe or do you think that you'll have any involvement in the sport, maybe commentating, coaching, anything like that? Is there any involvement that you could see yourself having, after you're retired as an actual fighter?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I enjoy doing seminars. I'd love to put up a series of kind of like ground and pound or takedowns, striking to the takedowns, setups that I've kind of built over the years. I think that would be really cool to kind of share that knowledge with people. I love, helping my teammates, And I genuinely love like helping grow fighters and stuff. So I'm not ready to completely walk away from the sport. Period. It's in my blood, but just maybe as a fighter.
Yep, and last one from me. Being that this is the last one, what do you want the fans, the MMA community, to remember about you, the Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza, being that obviously this is the last fight for you?
I would say the biggest thing I want people to remember from my story is that, never count yourself out. You can fall, but you can always build your way back up. And if you put enough work in and you want it enough, you can always come back, no matter how bad things might seem, because it's tough after losses and, even just in life in general. But, knowing that you can always put that foot forward and come back and be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.